everybody. My name's Tony Cardenas with Carmel Social Media. This is one of our brand new podcast sessions, and we're going to be talking with Shelly Walters with eXp Real Estate. Hello, Shelly. How are you today?
Hey, Tony. Good to see you.
And we got Jeff Worrell, City Councilor of Carmel, Indiana. And what's going on, everybody?
Well, Carmel's great. It's a beautiful day out there, Tony. Thanks for having me.
Shelly, I'd like to talk to you about what in the heck is going on with the real estate here in Carmel, Indiana. There's hardly anything to buy. There's construction around. What do you think's going on with the market right now?
It's still really slow start here, but it is February. So, back in the day, we always had a seasonal type of feel. So it is a season right now of not normally having very much.
Right.
But, currently with Carmel, we just only had 9 new listings come up in the past 7 days. So
Really?
That's not very much.
How many homes total that are available that are, not new construction? So like what's available right now?
Currently active, we have 23, but there will be homes in that active list that aren't even out of the ground yet. So those are there for people to think about and, get over and see the models and decide if they want to build. So you'll see, so out of those 23, if I look that up, I bet we'd only have about maybe 15.
What about Westfield, Indiana? I mean, they're a little north of us. Okay.
They only had 8 new listings in the past past week. But the pendings are 172, whereas we have pendings in Carmel are only 143. But the current actives in Westfield's a lot better. There's 53 in Westfield.
Let me ask you this, Shelly. What do you think that that's making this inventory so low? Because everything is sold, the low interest rates, because interest rates are going up.
Yes, and we kind of think that's going to have something to do with everything as this market continues. I always tell people, before people would always want me to do something like a crystal ball reading. And I've always said, we never know. But you could kind of work with our past, what's happened in the past. And I've been doing this for about 15 years, and I had some past to work through. We don't have anything to work on right now. We just don't know on a daily basis or a weekly basis what's going to happen. Interest rates start to make a change. Inventory makes a change. And then new builds are up and coming more than they were a year ago. So we have that back in our equation. So there is no crystal ball right now. We just take it one day at a time.
Well, if you look on the National Mortgage Rate Board right now, you're talking a 30-year fixed interest rate. You're talking about 3.750. All the way up to 4.125, depending on what your credit score is and your loan to value. So I know FHA is a little bit lower, but that's more of your first time home buyer. But what about the people that are buying the homes here in Carmel, Indiana? There's not a lot of first time home buyers because what's our average price?
Yeah. So when we look at first time home buyers, they're usually 250 or under. So in Carmel, that would be Home Place and a few other places, some condominium areas. But new builds can't happen. And Jeff, you probably know much better than I do. There are some limits on the amount of the price of a house of a new build as well in Carmel.
Well, the land's pretty doggone expensive.
That's right. And generally speaking, that's a good thing. Maybe it's not good for the first time home buyer, but we want our homes to be valuable. We want to keep valuable. We want to keep the property values up. And that's what I wake up in the morning always trying to figure out. How do we do that? How do we keep people's properties valuable?
And what do you think is your number 1 and 2 in that regard? What do you think is most important to keep that going, like you said?
Well, I think there's a really, I look at it as a whole toolbox. Mm-hmm. So it's not really just one thing. It's because there are some people, I don't know if you can believe this, Shelly, but there are people in Carmel who don't like roundabouts. Now, that's not Tony.
Hey, that's my next subject, by the way.
But low taxes, they like that. So it's usually a market basket type thing. So it's quality of life. It is good schools. It is, a place where people can be proud of, that they want to, raise their family and maybe work here. We have a lot of people who actually come to Carmel now who don't want to go downtown Indianapolis. They want to live here and work here as well as raise their families.
Along with a fantastic, I'll tell you something that's really good here. We have a fantastic police force here. I'm telling you, we do. Sure. And the fire department, these guys are on top of their game. It's a little different down in the Indianapolis market. It's a great place for a family to be raised. But
you know what? I'll just add on to that a little bit because yes, our employees are excellent. Our firefighters, the men and women who man all of our safety personnel. But something that Carmel does that is unusual is that we will send out 22 firefighters to every residential or commercial alarm. That's amazing. 22 to every commercial or residential alarm.
Wow.
So that means we have 4 firefighters on every engine. Usually it's 3, and one of those is required in Carmel to be a paramedic. So
wow.
So just, keeping your insurance rates down and being able to respond quickly. And then, of course, if our first truck on the scene, if we see any smoke showing, we immediately sound a second alarm and bring in a whole nother crew.
Well, that's why it's such a great place to live in our community, our schools, our police force, our emergency services. But let's talk about roundabouts for a little bit.
Okay, your favorite subject.
It is. I love our roundabouts.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear more positive things about them than I ever do negative things about them, except for the construction. I can live with the construction because of the end goal. It's going to make it easier for me to drive. All right. But just south of Carmel Drive, over here on Rangeline Road, going south to 116th Street, you got all that construction right there, like where Mike's Car Wash and where the new Fresh Market's going to be going in.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
Oh, well, that's actually getting ready. So right now you're seeing utility relocations occurring on Rangeline Road, getting ready for a new roundabout at Medical Drive, which
Right.
will start in March.
Right.
That'll be a 45-day closure. And then the biggie will be 116th in Rangeline.
Right. When do you think that'll happen?
116th and Rangeline will be we won't do them at the same time, and we're going to keep east-west traffic open. So
Right.
that's going to be a longer process. That'll be actually more into the summer months.
We've probably latter part.
Well, we've got some serious relocations to do on utilities. That's
You guys
really-
have been working for a long time on that whole
Oh,
intersection.
really? Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
It's
Yeah,
been a couple of years, it seems. So
exactly. Yes.
it'd be interesting to see that all clean up and get such easy traffic flow
Yeah.
in that area.
It'll be
difficult.
125 days, and it'll start May 1st is the plan.
Well, you've got to get the traffic flow right because of the new homes and the construction on new homes that's going to happen here. Our population is going up. Okay, we need great traffic flow. Jeff, what's coming this spring? Anything that you know of?
What a loaded question.
I know, but you know what? I'm ready. I'm so sick of winter right now. I am ready for springtime. I'm ready for the gazebo. I'm ready for some fun things to do outside.
We went sledding the other day, my family and I, and that was fun.
Yeah.
You have to enjoy the winter while
That's
you
right.
can.
That's right.
Yes.
But probably the big kickoff for me, always a sign of summer, is when we kick off the farmers market, which will start the first Saturday in May. I think that is always, when things kick off. But we've got the Carmel Marathon will happen the second weekend in April.
Yeah.
And that's a fun time.
Seems like we run into a little rain once in a while on that.
If we do, yes, you and I have
Yes.
stood in the rain together
Yes.
as I was getting ready to start the marathon. But, we'll have all the fun activities for families, for visitors to come to Carmel and take advantage of in Carmel. I was just working on the Spark Button committee.
Oh, yeah.
Spark Buttons are coming. Shelly, do you know what a Spark
I
Button
sure
is?
do.
Oh, you know what we need
I've
to
had
do?
Adam Mason always hits me up with those.
There you go.
Yeah.
We need to
Great.
get Shelly out there
Thank
on the
you, Adam.
We need to get
Yes.
Shelly out there on the volunteer I did a couple of years ago.
Yes.
And we need to get Elma back on the volunteer list. And but along with that, just remember, everybody, we do have the winter market that you can still enjoy.
Sure,
I went last weekend, and believe it or not, it was packed.
You're talking about the winter farmers market.
The winter farmers
Yeah,
market.
yeah.
Actually, they call it the winter market.
Yeah, the winter market. Some people get confused with the Chris Kindle market, which obviously is over, but you can still go ice skating and get hot chocolate and some beer over there as well.
Well,
Yeah, we are the typical Hallmark movie where we've got Christmas and all that stuff going on. And I think that's what part of you keep saying is people really want to be in Carmel.
sure.
And this is an international wish from many people because I'll get phone calls from all over the world. We want to move to Carmel. And I always say, can I ask you how you landed on Carmel? You could go anywhere in the world. And it's very interesting to hear, but they do always say the same thing over and over again. And it's, schools, crime rates.
Absolutely.
Cheaper housing. It's just.
We're getting a lot of
constant.
people coming in from Chicago and California here. I mean, I've met the people.
Mhm.
But let me ask you this, Shelly. How can people get a hold of you at eXp Realty if they'd like to have some information on housing, what's going on with inventory.
Yeah, you can always reach out to me. My cell phone is 317-201-2601. And my email's real easy. It's just my name, Shelly@ShellyWalters.com.
And I wanted to thank both of you for coming in today and doing this podcast. This message has been brought to you by PRMG Mortgage here in Carmel, Indiana. And thank you.
Tony, do you know about the Weekend Big List?
Oh my gosh.
Go gooddaycarmel.com brings the Weekend Big List. You can go to Carmel social media and check that out every Friday.
Yes.
And tell Shelly, people that are thinking about Carmel, have them check out Carmel social media on Fridays where we post everything going on.
We're going to do.
I was wondering that you were talking about that, if you were going to mention that.
Well, I'm sorry.
That is such a great piece of information. Like you just said, what's coming up. And,
we're going to post that this weekend. And
Yeah.
Jeff and I are probably going to do a Zoom call on that, or a Zoom podcast. We're going to start getting it out a little bit different. Okay. Because we want to get more interaction on the Weekend Big List on Carmel social media. So everyone, thank you. And I appreciate you participating in this podcast today, and have a great day.